Hello, I'm John Stossel. Welcome to 2020 in Touch, our weekday webcast. It's one of the most bizarre, disturbing hoaxes we've ever come across. It all began with someone innocently picking up a phone. Donna Summers, a manager at McDonald's, thought she was talking to a policeman. The cop told her one of her employees was suspected of theft. Donna then brought in a shy young girl, Louise Ogborn, who matched the police officer's vague description. And then, at the so-called policeman's orders, Donna proceeded to strip search her. And that was just for starters. As you'll see, what happened next, ask yourself, why did people go along with this? Apparently, they were just, in their words, following orders. And we warn you, some of this is graphic. Here's John Quinones.
In a back office at McDonald's in Mount Washington, Kentucky, teenager Louise Ogborn is naked and in tears. Donna Summers, the assistant manager who had strip searched her, has to get back to work. The caller had suggested she bring in her fiancé, Walter Nix, who goes by the name Wes. This 43-year-old exterminator is about to continue the interrogation.
You left this middle-aged man with a naked, frightened...
She was covered.
With an apron.
She was completely covered.
But as the video shows, Louise is tugging at the apron, which barely covers her top, and the sides of her legs are exposed up to her buttocks.
What were you thinking?
I didn't think Wes would do anything. I trusted him.
It's the height of the dinner rush. Donna Summers leaves the 90-pound teenager alone and vulnerable in the office with the 230-pound Nix.
Why couldn't you run out?
I was naked. I was scared. I mean, any normal person in that situation, they wouldn't have ran out.
You're convinced there's no way you could have done it?
There's no way.
Did you think about it?
I wanted to so bad. I wanted to run.
And you would have had to have run through the restaurant.
I couldn't have done that. I couldn't have ran out the back door. I couldn't have done anything. I couldn't bring myself to humiliate myself worse than I already was.
Humiliation, as it turns out, would be the least of her worries. Now it's Walter Nix who's following the caller's commands, having Louise drop her apron, bend over, and stand on a chair. Then, as ridiculous as it sounds, he tells Louise to jog and do jumping jacks, to shake loose anything, the caller says, that she might be hiding. Incredibly, Nix complies with the caller's outlandish demands, and it's only the beginning of 2 more hours of torment.
Why did you follow their instructions?
My parents taught me when an adult tells you to do something, that's what you do. You don't argue. You know, somebody smacks you on the hand, you listen.
And everyone, it seems, is listening to that voice on the phone. He even talks to Louise.
He told me if I loved this job and if I needed to keep my job, then I would cooperate.
According to Louise, when she fails to address Walter Nix as Sir, the caller tells him to hit her violently on the buttocks, over and over. Here, it goes on for almost 10 minutes.
He told me that I was asking too many questions, so he was told to hit me. And I said, please don't do this. This is so ridiculous. This is stupid. Please don't.
But that would only make him hit you harder.
Yes, and more times.
By the end of the beating, painful red welts appear clearly on Louise's body. And during it all, Donna Summers keeps walking in and out of the office.
Every time you hear her coming in, what happens?
He throws the apron at me and tells me, like, shh, don't tell Donna.
Why didn't you tell Donna at that point?
I begged her every time she came in the room, get me out of here. Please get me out of here. Donna, please, please. I didn't do anything wrong. Please believe me.
And every time Summers walks out of the office, Louise says Nix resumes and intensifies her torture, following the caller's instructions.
My soul just left my body. I just went numb to everything so that I could just survive.
Almost 3 hours into Louise's ordeal, the caller tells Nix to hand the phone back to Summers and incredibly instructs her to bring in someone else. This time she ushers in Thomas Sims, a 58-year-old maintenance man who works at the restaurant. He gets on the phone with the caller. But Sims refuses to comply with his demands.
Tom told me this man is asking for her to drop her apron so I can see her without that apron. And I said, do what? And it floored me.
Only then does Summers realize she's been had.
But I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. I had been had like no other person been had.
Soon, the office is crawling with McDonald's supervisors.
On the video, you see the managers come in. They seem panicked.
I guess they realized what was so unbelievably wrong.
Only then does someone finally call the police. They arrive within 5 minutes. The Mount Washington police station, it turns out, is only a quarter-mile away from the restaurant.
There's a lot of things in my mind that I think they could have done, and I don't understand why they didn't do them.
Buddy Stump is the detective with the Mount Washington police. He arrests Walter Nix and begins to try and find the caller, assuming that he's someone who lives in the area.
I said, this has got to be somebody on a payphone, maybe working Winn-Dixie, and they're getting their jollies off by watching all the action and the police roll in.
But where the investigation will lead and who it will point to will surprise everyone involved in the case.
You can see the whole incredible hoax play out tonight on 2020 and find out who the police arrested as the man on the phone. Also, Wednesday night, I did a special hour called Cheap in America. Who gives, who doesn't? Despite what you've heard, Americans give more to help others than any other people on the planet. And the group that gives the most? Conservative churchgoers. Which prompted viewer Trish Randall, someone who's not a churchgoer, to send us a video response via webcam.
Hi, John Stossel. I'm responding to your call for videos about charitable giving. And funny you should ask when you did, because this past weekend my husband and I were surveyed because we belong to a skeptics group. And among the questions that was on the survey was to list the charities you've given to in the past year, and we ran out of room. And it's because when you don't believe in God or the afterlife, you realize that all we humans have is each other. So when someone asks me for $1, unless I literally don't have $1 in my pocket, I give it to them, because I know how hard it is to ask, especially when you really need the money.
Thank you for that. And a viewer who feels, quote, charitied to death, especially at this time of year, wrote, by the time I give a little here and give a little more there, I'm tapped out. I need food on my table as well. Another viewer applauds the rich for having and spending money on themselves, adding, after all, their shopping spree generates work in factories and retail. Please, if you don't give the money, spend it. Please keep your emails coming. And as you've seen, you can also record your comments on a video cell phone or webcam and send them to us at abcnews.com.